go. Pardon me, guys. Issues with having things be live, right? This was pre-recorded. I could just go back and cut that part off. All right, we're good to go. Thanks for bearing with me. So the theme tonight is impermanence, and I was thinking about, of course, the pandemic that we're all living through right now. No matter human beings, we tend to be impatient, don't we? We don't like change necessarily, even though change can oftentimes force us into new ways of being. People like to use the metaphor, because it's such a beautiful one, of caterpillars becoming butterflies, right? They have to go through this incredible change, spinning that cocoon, and who knows what caterpillars think, if they think. They just do, it's that intuition, and they just go and they make that cocoon, and their complete chemistry changes, and they come out and they emerge this butterfly. How much awareness do they have? Do they have awareness of what they're going through? I don't know. But that's such an incredible, powerful change. I mean, when you think about change is always scary for us, I think, as humans. There's always a sense, even if it's a positive change, of something different, something being different that maybe you haven't been exposed to before. There's that sense of discomfort. And this pandemic, of course, is something none of us has lived through before. And as it continues to go on, and maybe we feel like our lives have been interrupted, or it's an inconvenience, and the holidays are upon us, and holidays are difficult for a lot of people anyway, and then we've got this whole added thing where maybe you might be separated from your family this year. And so I just invite you to, those of you that are doing yoga, this is an amazing tool that we have, the tool of yoga, the tool of meditation, to allow us to be present and with what is, whether that experience, the present experience, is pleasurable or painful, and to be with it and to let it go, to know that it's not permanent, neither one, pleasure or pain. If you want to read more about that, it's at shiningwatersyoga.com. But that's going to be the theme that I carry into this practice. So I'm doing something a little bit different to start tonight. I'm going to invite you to find a comfortable posture. So it doesn't have to be the same as mine. If you have a favorite yoga pose, yoga posture that is comfortable, so not like a headstand or something you have to warm up for, but maybe it's just seated, maybe it's easy pose, maybe it's child's pose, or even shavasana, lying on your back. Some of you might be comfortable lying on your belly, like a belly down, with the hands stacked and the feet like wide apart, just resting the belly. That's also just a really nice resting pose for some. For some people, that's pressure on the lower back. So choose any one of those postures, or if there's a different one that I haven't thought of, but one where you feel like you can be present and you can experience a sense of comfort. So wherever you're joining me from, if you've just ended your workday, if you are at home with your kids, and hopefully they're in another room right now, this is your space. This is your moment to let all of that go, to let your day go, to start to turn inward, and possibly close your eyes or soften your gaze. Or if you're lying face down and you've got the hands stacked, you can really just kind of go inward. And begin to notice a sense of ease in the body. Whichever posture you've chosen. begin to deepen your breath. And as you exhale, maybe just sigh it out as you let go of your day and you sink in a little bit deeper to that sense of comfort. Take a couple more breaths here, breathing at your pace. Each exhale, sinking in, letting go, and becoming aware of a sense of comfort, ease, possibly even pleasure. Maybe contentment, be in the space. Take a few more breaths here, being fully aware of this sense of peace and ease. So you can carry this sense with you throughout the practice. And start to find an evenness in your breath. So perhaps breathing in for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and pause. And exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's too slow for you. You could use 3 as a count. You could use 5 if you want to breathe slowly. Continuing to breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4, and pause. 2, 1, and inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and pause. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1, and pause. One more breathing cycle on your own. And then wherever you are, whatever position you chose, begin to stretch a little bit. So if you're on your belly, maybe reach the arms over your head. If you're in Shavasana, reach the arms over your head. If you're seated, reach the arms over your head. If you're in child's pose, reach your arms over your head. Maybe they already are. Start to wiggle around a little bit as if you were just that caterpillar, right? Starting to come out of the cocoon, as if you're discovering a new body for the first time. And then whatever posture you're in, we're all going to come to hands and knees. So if you want to use a blanket to pad your knees, you certainly can. Coming to all fours. Knees are hip width apart, hands are shoulder width apart, maybe just slightly in front of your shoulders. And then starting to just move back and forth a little bit. So shifting the hips back towards child's pose. Maybe you just came from child's pose. Inhaling, come forward to all fours and start to drop the hips down into sort of a lazy upward facing dog. And as you exhale, engage your belly. Draw the belly towards the spine as you move the hips back towards child's pose. Inhale forward and start to lower. Exhale, hips back towards the heels. Inhale, come forward into your upward facing dog. And exhale back again. And then if you're okay to come to sit on your knees, we're going to come there and just warm up the upper body a little bit more. If this is not comfortable, you can come into seated cross leg. Just taking the fingertips to the shoulders. Let's just circle the elbows. Warm up the shoulders a little bit. Breathe, inhaling up and exhaling down. Gentle opening. We're getting our wings or opening our wings up. Change the direction of your circles. And then reach the arms up to the sky. Look up. Take the arms out to the sides, forming a T, and draw the thumbs back. Open up through the chest. Big breath in, stretching those wings. Exhale the hands on the floor behind you. Fingers forward, wrists under the shoulders. Start to see if you can lift your hips up to the sky. Breathe. Exhale back down. And if you can't lift the hips, you can just inhale, just lift the sternum and just work there. Otherwise, we're going to lift the hips up again. Breathe in. Exhale down. And come back to center, taking the palms to the heart. Inhale, reach both up to the sky. And exhale down to the sides. Leave your right hand down and sweep your left arm over your ear. And circle over the ears with hand. And exhale down. Inhale, left arm circles. Comes down. And switching sides. Breathe. Find a sense of rhythm, almost like you're moving underwater. Last one. And then taking your right hand to your right knee, you're just going to lift it up a little bit, stretching the front of the shin, or the muscles around the shin, and even into the top of the foot. Lower down, and other side, lifting that knee up, lifting the leg, stretching the front of the lower leg and the top of the foot. And release it down. Go ahead, come forward to your table again. Tuck your toes underneath. So this way so you can see my toes. Tuck those toes underneath. Start to sit back. If that already feels like too much, you might stay here with your weight forward. If you're okay with it, you can come to sit on your heels with the toes tucked, a little bit more intense, this thunderbolt pose. Interlace your hands and press out, reach up, and exhale down. So noticing here the intensity. Is there a sense of discomfort here? And can you stay with that, or is it too much? And so when I say, can you stay with that, if there's pain, obviously you want to come out. If there's discomfort, can you sit with that discomfort for a moment as we lift those arms overhead and exhale down. Draw the lower ribs in as you inhale and press up and exhale down. One more time, press up. Let's turn the fingers towards you. So I'm going to actually not use my mat. You could still pad your knees if you need to. Turn the fingers towards you. Get a little stretch in your wrists now. And start to sink the hips back. You're not going to go all the way, most likely. This is probably pretty intense in the wrists. And again, just notice that intensity. It might feel good. There might be a sense of discomfort. Can you breathe into it? And then release those hands back the other way. And we'll go ahead here and we're going to step the left foot forward into a lunge. Walk that foot forward so that your knee is in line with your ankle. You could slide the other leg back a little bit. Start to come to your lunge. And this is where the blocks might be helpful. So we're going to hold this for a little bit. Again, check the alignment of your knee. Start to lift from your sternum. Stretching the front of that thigh. Just take a couple breaths here. If you need to, you could actually shift back and forth a little bit before you hold. Shifting the hips back, starting to straighten the front leg, and then shifting the hips forward again. Shifting back and shifting forward. And then when you're ready, you can continue to shift back and forth or pause here and hold the stretch. And breathe. Notice a sense of discomfort, or you may notice comfort here. Maybe this feels good, opening that front hip, especially if you've been sitting all day. And then tuck that back toe under and lift the back leg up and notice that sensation. Looking forward, lift from the sternum. And start to step the back foot in a little bit to allow you to straighten the front leg. You can inhale, lift up, lift from your sternum. You could change the height of your blocks. So my wrists are in line with my shoulders. You can also take fists here and look forward. Feel that stretch now in the back of both legs, really. Breathe. You start to lift that front toe up towards you and then bring it back down. Lift it up, stretch a little bit deeper, and take it down. And lift it up. Take it down. Go ahead and take your blocks back down. Bend the front knee. You may have to scoot that foot forward because we had shortened our stance. And then from here, we'll just step the left foot back and the right foot forward. Come into your lunge on your other side. Make sure you step forward enough that your knee's in line with your ankle. And start to lift up and stretch. So again, you might notice a little discomfort at first if the hip is tight. Maybe you want to move back and forth a little bit. And as you straighten the front leg, feel that stretch in the right hamstring and then shifting forward. Inhale here and exhale as you straighten the front leg. And just moving back and forth with your breath a couple of times until you feel like you're ready to hold that stretch. And then breathe in your lunge. Use the exhale to release up a little bit more your sternum. If it feels good, go ahead, sigh it out through the mouth. And then go ahead and tuck that back toe under, lift that back knee up, coming into this sort of a runner's lunge. Hold that for a couple of breaths. This is the position of your head. If you start to hang your head and look forward, lengthen through your neck. Go ahead and if you want, you can change the position of your blocks. I find that to be helpful. We're going to step the back foot in a little bit so we can straighten the front leg and we don't feel like we're doing too much of a split here. And also being mindful not to lock the front knee. Breathe again, inhale and lengthen through your spine. And if you have space, you could totally stay here or you can exhale and maybe come a little bit more forward. Breathe. Again, be mindful to use your quadriceps here to lift that kneecap. Lock the front knee. And you can lift your front toes up, increasing that stretch a little bit. You also feel that in the quadricep. And bring it down. And lift it up. Bring it down. Lift it up. And bring it down. Go ahead and bring the back knee down and step the right foot back. Coming back into child's pose, you can probably put your blocks aside for a moment. Take a breath or two here. And then inhale, come back to table with the hands a little bit forward, fingers spread wide, press down through the index finger and the thumb. Tuck your toes, start to lift your knees up into downward facing dog. And pedal those feet. So we're going to be here for a little bit. If this is too much on your hands,
Feel free to come into dolphin pose on your forearms with the elbows shoulder width apart. The feet are hip width apart. Or you can be in your downward facing dog. And feel free to pedal the legs, whatever you like to do. Start to find your down dog. Adho Mukha Shavasana. Lift those hips up, push the floor away, sink your heels down towards the floor. Notice a sense of ease or discomfort here. So people tend to love downward facing dog or hate it. Let the head hang. Of course, if there's any reason you can't be in this posture, like I said, modify, do dolphin, or come back to child's pose. Maybe you want to move in and out of it and shift your hips forward to plank pose. Now, if I had shortened my dog, so I'm going to walk my hands forward a little bit so the wrists are under the shoulders, press through the heels, pull your belly in into plank, and exhale and come back to downward facing dog. So shift back and forth a little bit. If you prefer and you want more of a break, bring the knees down into this sort of half plank and then lift back up to down dog. Or shift forward to plank. Keep your belly firm. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. Can you hold for a breath or two? So option here to come down onto forearms and lift up into your forearm plank. So if that's a little easier on your wrists, feel free to do that. See if you can hold your plank for a couple of breaths. Notice a sense of comfort or discomfort, right? Is it hard? Not pain. If there's pain, come out. And then either plank pose, go ahead and lower down, knees, belly. Release your head, rest. And wiggle the hips side to side. Breathe in and exhale. Here we are back at that comfortable posture. Take another deep breath and exhale it out. And then start to walk your hands under your shoulders. Roll the shoulders back and away from the ears. Start to lift up into cobra. Sternum looking forward. Notice how that feels. Exhale, come back down. And again, rolling the shoulders back and down. Keep your elbows in close. Inhale up into cobra. This time, exhale, draw the belly back towards your table. Tuck your toes and lift your hips into downward facing dog. One more time. Breathe in, breathe out. Look forward between your hands, and you can step, walk, jump, hop, however you like to get in between those hands. Inhale, lift halfway when you get there. Ardha Uttanasana, and exhale and fold. Maybe hang here for a minute if you like to grab the elbows. Maybe shake the head, releasing tension from your neck. And then bending your knees, sink your hips back, take the arms behind you. Start to look forward and lift up, and then press down through your feet. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to your heart. I'm going to adjust my camera just a moment. You're going to walk forward and come into your mountain pose. So from the top of your mat, finding mountain pose, I'm going to face you just so I can make sure that our camera angle is good. Feet are hip width apart. Relax those shoulders. Breathe. Pressing the inner ankles towards the outer ankles. Feel that sense of stability and groundedness. Perhaps there's a sense of comfort here. And then taking the heels of your hands to the back of your pelvis. Draw the elbows inward. Draw the shoulders back and down. Inhale, lift from your sternum. Maybe you can even lean back here a little bit into a back bend. Opening the chest again. Breathe in. If it's too much in your neck, you can look forward. And exhale and just release. And just gently take the knees back and forth a little bit. Shake it out. Then inhale, reaching your arms overhead. Exhale over to the right. Press down through that left foot. Maybe look up to the sky. Reach a little bit longer. Keep breathing. Inhale to the center and exhale to the other side. Press down to that right foot. Keep breathing. Reach a little longer. Is this difficult, or does it feel good to stretch that side body? Inhale to come up. Reach. Maybe lift up onto the balls of your feet. Find some balance there. And then exhale, bring the feet down and forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen your spine. Exhale, bend your knees and sink your hips back. Bring your hands to your heart, chair pose. So I'm just going to turn this way. Feet are still hip width apart. Take a look at your knees. If they tend to go in like not me, release your hands to the outsides of your knees and press your knees into your hand. Look forward, lift up so that you're not bending down and lifting your hips up. You're sinking the hips back towards your heels. Can you keep holding this? If you need to come out, come out. You can forward fold or you can come to stand. Breathe. Chair pose. What are you feeling? Is this hard or is it just uncomfortable? Do you feel a little fire, a little heat building up? Breathe. Feel those muscles working in your legs. Maybe reach the arms out. Maybe sink a little lower. Challenge yourself, but don't hurt yourself. Inhale to rise. Oh, that feels so good. Exhale, hands to your heart. Pause. Breathe. Notice. Maybe the heart's beating a little faster. Let's try that again. Bring the arms down to the side. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. This time, exhale, come right into that chair pose. Bend your knees, sink your hips back, find chair pose. If your arms are tired and you want to keep your hands to your heart, you certainly can. Or you can challenge yourself with the arms forward. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Maybe sink a little lower. Breathe out. Maybe not. So your choice. Breathe in. Exhale, fold this time. Come on down. Lift the hips up. Exhale it out. On your next inhale, lift halfway. Lengthen your spine. Feel that stretch in the backs of your legs. I didn't do this very well because I need my blocks and they're back there. So you may want your blocks here. You may not need them. You can bring your hands down to the floor and step your right foot back into a lunge. So feel free to use your blocks on either side of that front foot. You're going to stay in this lunge. Keep your right hand down to the floor or the block and lift your left arm up to the sky. Come into a twisted lunge. Keep pressing to that right foot so you don't drop this right hip down. Breathe. So getting a different perspective. Maybe you can look up towards your thumb. If that's too much in your neck, just look to the side wall. And then exhale that hand down. Step that foot forward and inhale, lift halfway. Lengthen your spine. Remember, you could have your blocks here. As you exhale, bring the hands down, fold again. Step the left foot back. Find your low lunge or your runner's lunge. Keep your left hand to the floor and inhale the right arm to the sky. Keep pressing through the ball of that left foot. This twisted lunge. Breathe. Maybe look up to the sky or just forward or even down. And bring that hand down. Step the back foot forward. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale and fold. Bend your knees, sink your hips back. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to your heart. Come back to mountain pose and breathe. Okay, so from here, we're going to move through a little sun salutation. So bringing the arms down to your sides. Inhale, arms overhead. Look up to the sky. Exhale, hinge forward from your hips and fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, hands to the outsides of your feet. You can step back or you can hop back to a plank pose. Pause. When you're ready, you can exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale into your cobra pose. Exhale, draw the belly up, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Hold here for a couple of breaths or bring your knees down and rest in child's pose. How are you feeling? Check in. Inhale, look forward between your hands. Step your right foot forward. Turn your back heel down and inhale, rise into warrior one. Hips are forward, ribs are forward. Reach the arms up, maybe the palms touch. Reach a little higher, draw your belly in. We're not rushing through this, we're pausing here. Let's feel any sensations that arise. If your arms are clasped, bring that thumb to the back of your occipital ridge and see if you can lift the elbows up a little higher. Breathe. Exhale. Inhale, arms back up. As you exhale, release the arms down, straighten the front leg. Step the back foot in. Looking forward, inhale, lift your sternum, and exhale, hinge from your hips. Now, you can bring the arms down to your blocks, or you could grab your forearms, tucking the chin slightly. Draw your right hip back and the left hip forward. Getting into this version of pyramid pose. As you breathe, maybe you find a little bit more space. Drop the head towards the knee. Locking in the knee. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, release the arms. Start to bend that knee. You might have to step back since you stepped forward. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands down to the floor and step back to plank pose. Then you can lower knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga as you so desire, and come into your cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Lift those hips up and back. Press through the heels. We're going to go to the other side. Inhale, look forward, step the left foot forward, back heel down, and rise into warrior one. Breathe. Take a minute to sink in here. Maybe bring the hands together. Reach a little taller. Exhale, bring those thumbs behind the occipital ridge, and then inhale again and lift the elbows up towards the sky. Feel that opening in front center. Breathe. Is it uncomfortable? Does it feel good? Inhale, lift the arms up, and exhale, straighten the front leg. If you feel like you're doing a split, you're going to step that back foot in a little bit. Grabbing the forearms. Inhale, lift your sternum. Exhale, hinge, forward pyramid. Drawing the left hip back and the right hip forward. Imagine you're squeezing a block between those legs. As you find your balance here, you find comfort in the pose, you breathe. Maybe your head drops a little bit more. Maybe the side's different from the other. Press down to that front foot. Inhale to rise. Exhale, bend the knee, release the arms. Inhale, reach the arms back up. And as you exhale, you're going to come, bring those hands back down and step back to plank pose. One more time. Inhale here. And exhale and slowly lower. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Can you pause in chaturanga? And come down as you're ready. Untuck those toes. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing. Pause here and breathe. If you need to come into child's pose, come into child's pose. And there's no judgment there. If your body's saying rest, come into child's pose. Do the thing that you need. Inhale, look forward between those hands and bend your knees. You can step, hop, however you want to get back up there. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips back, come to your chair pose and pause. Breathe. Feel how powerful your legs are. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to your heart. Breathe in. Breathe out. From here, bring the hands to your waist. Step your right foot back into a high lunge. Inhale the arms to rise. And as you exhale, turn the back foot open to find your warrior two. Watch that front knee. Take a moment to sink in and find ease here. Bending that knee, again, in line with the ankle. Maybe you can go a little deeper, lifting that heel up. As you inhale, straighten the front leg, reach your arms over your head. Exhale and bring the right hand down to your hip. Reach with that left hand. You're going to come into triangle pose. So bringing this hand down inside the left leg, reach the right arm. Maybe look up to the sky. Breathe in. Breathe out. You can always have a block here. You don't have to come this low. You could have your hand pressing inside of the leg. If you need to come out of it, just come back up into warrior two. Otherwise, let's hold for another breath or two. Maybe looking down towards the foot, to the sky, or just straight ahead. Or keeping your chin. When you're ready, use that right arm, that top arm, to pull you back up and exhale back to warrior two. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. Turn your left toes in. Straighten the arms, straighten the legs. Five-pointed star. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. Turn the heels and the toes out and find temple pose. Inhale, straighten both legs. And exhale, the arms out. You can bring the hands to your waist. Turn the left toes out again, right toes in, and let that back heel come up. Here we are back in high lunge. Inhale the arms to rise, and exhale and step forward. Breathe. Pause here and rest. When you're ready, taking the hands to the hips, we'll step the left foot back and find a high lunge. I'm just going to change sides so that I don't have my back to you. So find your high lunge. Inhale your arms to rise. As you exhale, reach the arms out. Turn the back toes open. Find warrior two. Keeping that knee in line with your ankle. Maybe even lifting the heel up and going deeper. Only if that's right for you. And then inhale, straighten both legs. Reach the arms overhead. Exhale the arms out, left hand to your hip, reach that right arm. We're going to come into triangle pose. Bring that hand down, inside the leg. You use your block. There's my blocks. And reach the left arm up to the sky. Maybe fingertips to the floor if that's right for you, or just lifting a little higher with the hand inside the thigh. Lots of choices. Breathe. Maybe you look up, straight ahead or down. Notice that these arms can be reaching apart. You don't have to take this arm way behind you. Notice the sensation in your shoulder. Does it feel like you're reaching back, that you're overworking? And find alignment here with the two arms reaching apart instead. Does that feel better? You can also take that arm and circle it forward, down, and up. When you're ready, inhale to come all the way up. And bend the knee back into warrior two. Then we're going to go ahead and straighten, turn both toes forward, finding that five-pointed star one more time. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. Turn the toes out, the heels in. Start to bend those knees. Inhale, lift your sternum, and exhale and lower into temple pose. Breathe. Press down through those feet. Sink in, hips in line with the shoulders and the ears. Are you feeling discomfort? Are you feeling heat build? Maybe lift one heel and then the other. Maybe not. Inhale to rise. Exhale, arms down. Turn the toes forward. We're going to come into our wide leg forward fold. So inhale here and lift from your sternum, and as you exhale, we're going to hinge forward. Bring the hands down to the floor. If you can't press them flat to the floor and you're kind of hanging out here, get your blocks, and you can take the hands to the blocks. I don't need them, so I'm going to put mine aside. Inhale, lift up halfway again, and exhale and fold. Let the head go. Maybe shake your head. Maybe shift the hips side to side a little bit. Does it feel good to be here? And then walking that left arm or left hand up a little bit on the floor or on your block, whichever works for you. We're going to take that right hand and reach it underneath. Can you grab the outside of your left leg and sort of twist as you bend that elbow to look up underneath your left armpit? If that's too much, just reach what you can. If you can't quite reach the leg, you can just take the palm up and look up underneath. But you want to feel this stretch in the upper quadrant of the right side of your back. Really nice stretch for the shoulders and the upper back. And release it down. Come back to center. Shift the hips side to side. We'll go to the other side. So right hand walks forward a little bit on the floor or on the block. Thread that left arm through. See if you can grab the outside of your right leg. Start to look up underneath that right armpit. Breathe in, and as you exhale, maybe bend the elbow and draw yourself a little closer, feeling that stretch in the upper quadrant of your back. Breathe. Does it feel good? Is it intense? Maybe you're not quite there and that arm's on the floor, and that's okay too. Release when you're ready. Come back to center. Heel toe the feet in a little bit. Take your hands to your hips and inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to your heart. Step those feet together. March it out a little bit. Pull it out. So another great way to experience the concept of impermanence is with balance, right? Because sooner or later, we're going to fall, right? We're finding that balance. We feel like we're steady and then we're not steady, just like life. So let's come to mountain pose and we'll play with that balance a little bit. Press down to those feet. First, find that rootedness in your mountain pose. Firm the belly in. Continue to press down with your left foot. Start to bend your right knee, lifting that foot off the floor. Keep the belly engaged. Reach the arms overhead. At any point in time, if you start to falter, just rest and come back in when you're ready. See if you can take the hands to the knee and draw it into your chest. You can always use the wall for support or chair, something you can hold on to. Start to take your hand to the top of that foot and bring the heel towards your glute. And we'll reach the left arm up, baby dancer pose. And then release the foot. Can you keep it back there? Reach both arms overhead. Start to take the knee forward again. Straighten the front leg. And then option, you can bring it back down or take that heel to the top, just above the left knee. Start to come back to chair pose. Into this figure 4 posture. It's okay to fall out. Even the teacher does. may want to come a little lower, even holding onto that foot. Press down to that foot. Inhale to rise. When you're ready, straighten that leg and step it out. You might notice the left foot a little tired from supporting us through all of that. We'll be off of our feet soon enough, but we have another side to do. So find mountain pose. Root down through those feet. Draw the belly in. Press down through the right foot a little bit more. Start to bend your left knee and lift that foot off the floor. Stork pose. Reach the arms overhead. Keep the belly firm. Maybe you can draw that knee into your chest. Slide that hand down to the top of the foot. Bring the heel towards your glute. Reach the right arm up. You can always use a wall or something to help steady your balance. Breathe. Oh, that stretch feels so good. It's one of my favorites. Just baby dancer. We're not trying to hinge forward today. So we're going to go ahead and release the foot. Start to draw the knee back up. Can you straighten the leg out? Keep the belly firm. Bend the knee again. Bring that heel above the right knee. Start to sink into chair pose on one leg here in this sort of figure four posture. Breathe. Comfort or discomfort? Press down through that right leg. Inhale to rise and walk it out. Find mountain pose and rest and breathe. So I'm going to walk forward to come to the top of my mat. If you're not already there, please join me. Inhale the arms overhead and exhale and fold. Inhale to lift up halfway. As you exhale, bring the hands down, step your feet back, plank pose. Breathe in. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin, or chaturanga, and come all the way down onto your belly. So, lifting up partway, we're going to take the left forearm parallel to the front of the mat. Actually, I'm going to fix my camera a little bit. Go ahead and rest on your belly for just a second. And then we get to be on the floor for the rest of our practice. We're going to take that left forearm parallel to the front of the mat. Use your right hand to help lift you up. Bend your right knee. Bring that heel towards the glute. We just did this standing. See if you can grab that foot and draw it towards, a little closer to your glute. If you can, some of you might be able to turn your fingers towards your toes and get that little opening in the front of the right shoulder. Breathe. Sort of a half bow pose. You know where we're going with this. And when you're ready, release it down. We're going to switch sides, so bring the right forearm parallel to the front of your mat, palm face down. I find it helpful to take the other hand, which is your left hand now, pressing down to sort of help you lift up. So I'm going to switch sides so you can see. So help you lift up, start to bend that left knee, draw the heel towards you, grab that foot, and then make sure that your hips points are pointing down to the floor, so you don't want to stay with that hip lifted up. Those of you that can, spin the fingers around so they're facing the same direction as your toes. Feel that opening in the shoulder and the top of the thigh at the same time. So this one feels good to me. For some of you, it may be a discomfort, right? What are you sensing right now? Tune into that. And then let it go. So you have a choice here. You can, first of all, you can rest. You can stack your hands and rest your forehead and wiggle your hips side to side. You can repeat what we just did, right leg and then left, or bend both knees, bringing the heels towards your glutes. Go ahead and reach your hands back. Can you grab those feet? Maybe you take your hands and press down and lift up. You
could practice here. This is another option. Draw the elbows in. Or grab those ankles, keeping the feet flexed. Inhale, start to lift from your chest and sternum, drawing the legs up, pressing the feet into the hands. Maybe you even rock a little bit. Breathe. Can you hold it a little longer? If you need to let go. Maybe you're doing the other exercise, right leg, and then do the left. And when you're ready, you're going to release down. You're going to stack your hands. You're going to rest your forehead or turn your head to the side and wiggle those hips and breathe and notice. How do you feel? That's a huge opening. Very energizing. And it's evening right now, so we want to come down a little bit. Let's go ahead and roll to our side. Start to come up to sit. Lengthen those legs. Now, I didn't say to have a strap, but if you have one, you're welcome to grab the strap and take it around the balls of your feet or any other type of beach towel, something you can hold on to. Otherwise, let's go ahead and lift the flesh up out from under us. Sits bones are ground down. Press down through the thighs and the backs of the legs. Flex those feet. Inhale, reach up. Nice and tall. As you exhale, start to hinge forward. Reach the fingertips. Inhale, lift your sternum again, and as you exhale, hinge forward. So no caving into this lower back. If you find that you tend to do that, you can always sit up on a block or on a blanket to give you that lift and help tilt the pelvis forward so you can forward fold. Some of you may be able to grab your toes. Some of you may not reach that far. You can bring the hands down to the shins or to the outsides of the legs. And if you bring them to the outsides of the legs, you can actually imagine energetically drawing the mat towards you. Breathe in, breathe out. Notice the sensation in the lower back. Is everything okay? Is there ease? Is there discomfort? Take several breaths here. With each exhale, perhaps you find a little bit more ease. When you're ready, inhale. Start to lift back up, walk the hands back. Keeping the hands to either side. We're going to bend the knees, bring the feet to the floor. Shift your hips forward, start to come all the way back onto your back. Straighten your left leg and just hug your right knee in. Get that little bit of release here. Reach through that left leg. We need to let go of our practice. Go ahead and step your left foot across the right. See if you can bring the foot flat to the floor on the outside of your left leg. And then start to draw your right knee across the chest. It may not go very far. You can actually resist the stretch by trying to keep the right hip down. Right arm can just rest out to the side. Stretch there for the hip. Breathe and exhale. Draw the right knee back into your chest. Go ahead and straighten both legs. Reach your arms overhead and we'll switch sides, hugging the left knee in. Inhale and reach the right leg long. Exhale and hug it in a little bit more. And then step that left foot across, left foot on the floor. Taking your right hand to the outside of your left knee, start to draw it across the body. You can just let the left arm rest. You
can resist the stretch by trying to keep the left hip down. Just noticing that little bit of muscle engagement, deepening the stretch. Breathe, and as you exhale, begin to let go. Try to keep the foot on the floor if you can, but it might start tending to slide up from underneath. One more breath. Exhale and release. Go ahead, hug that left knee back in. We'll find a nice symmetrical pose and draw both knees in. Rock a little side to side or circle your knees. Whatever feels good here for the back. Just releasing your lower back, giving it a little massage. And reverse the circle, go the other way. Bringing your feet back down to the mat, go ahead and open the knees out to the side. And if you have those blocks, this is a great place to place a block under each knee. So we're coming into Supta Baddha Konasana or reclined Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle pose. You could reach your arms overhead if you like and grab the elbows and just take a couple breaths here. Each exhale, letting go a little bit more. Let the hips open, the legs relax. The back of the head and neck relax. Elbows soften. You can even let go of the elbows if you'd like and just bring the arms into goalpost cactus. Start to find rest. We have one more posture before Shavasana, but begin to just allow your body to let go because this last posture is just about releasing, finding that sense of ease again. Take one more deep breath. And as you exhale, begin to bring the knees together. You can get rid of one of these blocks. For the other one, you have a choice. You can either just take the legs straight up with your hips on the floor, or with the feet down, lift your hips up and place that block on any height. Actually, not the highest, either the lowest or the medium height. And then right underneath the back of the pelvis so you're completely supported. Lift the legs up and then straighten those legs. So let those feet rest. Did a lot of work standing. Maybe you've been standing all day. Just let the feet be above the head. Of course, if you wanted, you could set up by the wall and do a little legs up the wall and just end your practice that way. Pausing the video. For those that want Shavasana, don't worry, it's right around the corner. The shoulders relax. Notice any sensation in the throat. You can tuck the chin slightly here, lengthening through the back of your neck. You might also notice a sense of numbness in the feet as blood drains down, maybe some coldness or some tingling. So whenever you need to, you can go ahead and draw the knees back in. You can bring your feet to the floor, lift the hips up and take that block out if you used a block. And then taking the feet as wide as the mat, just let the knees go side to side a little bit. And we'll start to prepare for Shavasana. So at this point, as the body starts to pull down, you might want a blanket to cover with. You might want a bolster under your knees or a blanket for a folded blanket for under your head. Come to lie on your back in whatever way is comfortable. You can also, of course, keep your knees bent with the feet as wide as the mat and just let the legs rest on each other if lying straight doesn't feel good on your lower back. So find, again, your position of comfort. And allow your body to completely rest. So maybe take a minute and move first and just kind of let the feet flop in and out, maybe even the hands, head side to side. And then once you find your Shavasana, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, allow the body to soften on the floor. Feel all the points of contact between the body and the floor. And as you breathe in, imagine the body expanding outward, taking up more space. And as you exhale, imagine all those points sinking a little bit deeper. Allow the breath to become like ocean waves, washing over you. Each breath in is bringing more of that breath, that wave, that water. And as you exhale, the water washes through and carries away tension, pain, and stress. Following the cycles of breath, allowing the body to find a sense of ease again. And noticing if the body feels different from however you started. Maybe it's lighter. Maybe it feels longer. It's ready for sleep. Just tune in and notice. As we tune into the body and the breath, become present and aware of the sensations we experience in each moment. Become more in tune to this idea of impermanence. This moment is different than the moment that just passed. And definitely different from the moment when we started this class. Each new moment offers us an opportunity to experience life in a different way, to see things differently, to accept things differently. And to know that if the present moment is one that includes pain and suffering, that too will pass. Breathing in from the crown of the head to the bottom of your feet. Exhale. Breathe in through the crown of the head and exhale through the soles of the feet. Breathe in from the crown of the head, I am. Exhale through the soles of the feet. Breathing out to the extremities, to the tips of the fingers and the toes. Notice where your body ends and the space around it begins. And gently start to bring movement back into your hands and your feet, wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. As you feel ready, gently taking that into a larger movement, reaching the arms out or overhead. You can begin to roll over to one side, pause. When you feel grounded and ready, use your hands to gently and slowly walk yourself up to a seat. Perhaps using a cushion or a pillow underneath of you. Coming to sit cross-legged or however it's comfortable for you. Find a comfortable seat. Bring the hands together in front of your heart. Taking a deep breath in. As you exhale, notice if anything has shifted or changed in the body, the mind, or the breath. Past out. You may wish to pause here and sit and meditate for a while, or end the practice and go about your evening. We'll end this practice with the sound of home. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling, sigh it out. Inhale through the nose. Thank you